In this video, we're going to figure out how to conjugate a first conjugation verb in the present tense. And to practice, we're going to use porto portare, which means to carry. Now, what's the first thing that we should do? For step number 1, we should copy the dictionary definition into its corresponding box on the chart, which will be the present tense first person singular. If I have the dictionary definition porto portare, this is giving me the very first form that I need for the present tense. This word porto is actually the first person singular, so I can copy it exactly as is, don't make any changes, into that box, and that's the form I carry. Now, what do I do next? For step number 2, I need to find the stem, and I'm going to do this by removing the last 3 letters. So something, here represented by the letter X, and then RE from the infinitive, or the second principal part of the dictionary definition. Then I'll take that stem and I'll put it in all my empty boxes. Here's the second principal part, the infinitive. I'm going to ignore the last 3 letters for right now, the ARE, so the A was represented by X before because that letter differs, and then the RE, which is common to almost all infinitives. Everything except for that is what we call the stem. So for this verb, P-O-R-T. And I'm going to put that in all my empty boxes because that will be the beginning of all the other forms. Now what? For the first part of step 3, I need to reconsider that letter that we saw in front of the RE because that's going to help me determine the conjugation to the that this verb belongs to. And then if the infinitive happens to end in short ERE, I'll also need to check the first principal part just to see if it belongs to that special group that we call third IO. Here's that dictionary definition for porto portare. And here we have long ARE, which means that this verb belongs to first conjugation. To continue step 3, we need to add a vowel onto our stems. But that vowel that we add will depend on which conjugation our verb belongs to. So, since we had a first conjugation verb, we're going to be using the vowel A. Here we are back on our chart of the present tense of porto portare. Because it's a first conjugation verb, we're going to add the vowel A after our stem in all those boxes that aren't yet done. You'll notice that there isn't an A here in the first person singular. So that's an exception where there's just a stem and then the ending O. But because we're copying it from the dictionary definition, we should have spelled it correctly. Our final step, step number 4, is to add the endings. These are called the personal endings for present tense because they indicate the person who will be the subject of the verb. The O is in brackets because we've already used that. We copied it from the dictionary definition, so we're not going to need to add that. But we will add all these other endings on, and that will help us finish forming all the present tense forms of porto. So now I'll have portas, you carry, portat, he, she, or it carries, portamus, we carry, portatis, y'all carry, and portant, they carry. And that's how you form all the present tense forms of a first conjugation verb.